Today I'm making a quilt using a 120-year-old sewing machine I bought online that I have no idea how to use. Is this crazy impulsive? Yes. Completely unreasonable? Probably. Will this be a lot of fun? Absolutely. May I present to you my newest sewing machine? No electricity and no zigzag, no modern nonsense. Just me, a foot pedal, and some leg strength I'm not sure I have. So, why am I doing this? I mean, why not? Is this not the most gorgeous sewing machine you've ever seen? It reminds me of all the women who sewed on machines such as this one because it was all they had. During wars, during rationing, raising families, struggling with stuff we can't even imagine, and they still made it work. That alone makes me feel pretty spoiled. Also, I get to be a part of this machine's history, which is pretty special. I've looked it up at the Singer serial number database online, and this is a 27K model from 1906. 60,000 of these were made in the UK. The first Singer model to have a vibrating shuttle. I have no idea what all these are for, do you? I mean, are these feet? And for those of you who have been with me from the start, this surrounding may look familiar. It's where I recorded my first ever videos. Ah, the memories. I had no idea what I was doing then, and I'm pretty sure I have no idea what I'm doing now. Solid metal that weighs as much as a small child, and it only sews straight. You can see it has been well used. Some of the details have disappeared over time. Ah, and just look at this table. It's in pretty great shape apparently, but I haven't tried it yet. Most often than not, when you buy a treadle sewing machine this old, especially online, it's not really working properly. Luckily, my repair shop services these kinds of antiques, so they were able to get it ready for me. So anything that goes wrong is my fault, not the machine's. And the struggle begins. I have no idea what to do with this. A vibrating shuttle bobbin with a little gift inside. I have watched extensive YouTube videos on how to do this, but now that I have it in front of me, it all looks so different. Let's see if I can wind one of these bobbins. You can't sew without thread, right? You know, I've been wanting one of these for so long, ever since I started taking interest in sewing, but they usually take up so much space. My grandmother had one. It was a little bit more modern than this one, and all I remember was the big pedal and the beautiful sewing table. Like I've said, this machine does not plug in. Pushing on this makes it move, and by the size of this alone, I suspect my legs are about to get a really good workout. I feel so accomplished, I can't even tell you. How clever is this? And the first thing you notice is how quiet this machine is. It's slow and steady and almost relaxing. Almost, because I am still a little bit spooked by this and my muscles are complaining. But truly, I can't even explain how I'm feeling right now. Next step is threading it. And immediately I can tell this machine does not thread the same way my others do. It's from left to right. Can't remember the last time I didn't have an automatic needle threader on a sewing machine. I had plenty of seamstresses and tailors in my family over generations. Hopefully, there's something genetic that has passed on to me that will help me here. That's how intimidated I feel. I am calling on my ancestors for help. Time to sew. I am very nervous. Let's see how this goes. The whole getting the machine going is going to take me some time. The whole thing about having to wind it up with my own movement is kind of mind-boggling. The stitches just won't go straight because my whole body is moving. Yeah, the learning curve, it's vertical, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's make something with this pretty lady. I've got some scraps right here and I want to make myself some jelly roll strips. This is definitely something you want to take your time with, but I'm treadling. And I'm liking this so much, I figure I can make a quilt top with it. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, it goes poorly, I'm afraid. Because this machine needs momentum. Sewing anything that stops right after you start sewing is nerve-wracking. It's just not working for me at all. Sewing longer strips, however, is perfect because you just need to keep going. So I guess I'll pivot and just get myself some jelly roll strips for the project I have in mind. So 2.5-inch strips right here, and I just want to sew them together. I am sewing 5 at a time. I wanted to try something really special. I guess I'm feeling brave with all these firsts. I may come to regret this though, but I'm confident it will still look stunning once we're done, regardless of how wonky it will end up. It will probably take me much longer to get it done, but it will be worth it. I've learned that regulating the tension is a guessing game that I don't want to play, so I'm using number 50 thread and I'm leaving it well alone. And that the machine needs to get some momentum before sewing straight, and that the thread snaps if you so much as look at it funny. And that there is no such thing as a constant seam allowance. It just does its own thing, and I'm okay with that. But I have to say, once you get the hang of it, it is kind of magical. It's slow living at its best. It almost feels like a dance. You're moving with the machine. You're working together like a partnership to make the sewing happen. And that's so precious. And as you start to create something that actually looks right, you feel so good about yourself. This is what I have so far, so let's press this quickly because our next step is cutting these strips. We've done this before, but not the way I'm doing it today because I am cutting at a 60-degree angle. That's right, I want some diamonds. You could cut one diamond at a time even before you started to sew, but I find this way to be much quicker. A good thing about this pattern, contrary to, let's say, a Bargello pattern, is you don't need to keep track of your strips. You can just mix the whole thing up. And by now, I am missing using my machine. I'm in love with my ancient sewing machine. It is the prettiest thing I've ever owned. How about you? What's the oldest sewing machine you've ever used? And how did it go? Let me know. Okay, back to our project. We want to sew all our strips together into a one-of-a-kind quilt top. I'm also pretty curious to see how the machine feeds the seams through the foot. If it's going to be smooth or if there's going to be some resistance. Now, don't forget that because these are diamonds, matching the seams means having to look at the 1/4 inch seam allowance because that's where you want your seams to match, not at the ends of the fabric. I won't lie, I've thought about quitting many times. This has been such a huge challenge for me. I was totally out of my depth when I started, and I did end up shortening the project considerably because my legs are killing me. But after a lot of tea, a few almost tears of frustration, and a couple of heated discussions with my bobbin case, I did it. We are done. And for these machines, that word is actually literal because you really do feel like you've made it. Much like you would if you were hand sewing it, I guess, you feel much more involved in the process than you would with a modern machine. We need to press it before I can show you the whole thing. It is not flawless. It is in fact probably the wonkiest thing I have ever sewn, but it is kind of perfect, just like this machine. It was stitched with patience, love, and a rhythm that will make my dancing classes feel so boring from now on. Would I do it again? Yes, but not tomorrow. I need a rest now. What a privilege this has been. Honestly, this whole idea started out as a once-in-a-lifetime challenge, but I think I've fallen in love. Thank you for doing this with me, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.